Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Tim Hay, and I'm the Lead Cooperative Development Coordinator for Nashville Value Points, and I'd like to welcome you all to the Laboratory Equipment and Supplies State Kickoff webinar today. We have a great presentation in store for you today by Chelsea Cameron, who is the lead point of contact for the Lab Supplies and Equipment Agreement. But before we get started, just a couple of quick housekeeping items. If you could please mute your phones. That way we don't have any background noise as we're doing the presentation. Also, if you have to step away from your phone, please use the mute button. Do not put us on hold. A lot of state systems have that wonderful hold music, but it's kind of distracting for a webinar. And also, we are recording today's presentation, and we will have this recording available up on the website, and also a copy of the slide deck that you're going to see today as well. And we'll get that posted up on the website a little later on today. So with that, I'd like to introduce Chelsea Cameron, who is with the state of Idaho, and she'll lead us through today's presentation. So Chelsea, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to go through the Lab Equipment and Supplies webinar. First, I would like to thank the sourcing team, all of their time, their work, their sharing of knowledge. It was really a great experience, and really enjoyed working with all of them. The sourcing team included Ariane Quignon with the state of Idaho, Judy Shirley with Arkansas, Lori Tomita with California, Melissa Sambiagio with Michigan, Terry Becker with Nevada, and then Tim Hay was our encouraging and supportive coach, and really helped me a lot through the process, as this is the first Nashville Value Point contract that I've led. So the purpose of the Laboratory Equipment and Supplies RFP was to have master agreements for full line catalogs of laboratory equipment and supplies, and in order to have the best value and more favorable pricing. We have a lot of participation on these contracts, and our pricing just keeps getting better. As an overview, we awarded Band 1, which was the full line catalog, which included all the laboratory equipment and supplies, and also master agreement for Band 4, which was microscopes and includes all types of microscopes and the service of setting up the microscopes and software and training on how to use them. One of the things I wanted to point out for the master agreements for the full line catalogs, and also applies to the microscopes, is any equipment and supplies which may be included in the vendor's catalog but are not specifically designed or intended for the laboratory use, such as like the chairs and couches, tables, general office equipment, is excluded from this contract. Now, they offer a full range of those items, and I get questions all the time on, can we purchase this because we're going to put it in our lab? And the answer is no, we cannot purchase any of the office equipment. The other question I receive a lot on these contracts is around the $75,000 limit. That is per item after the discount. So you can have orders that exceed $75,000. You just can't purchase one item that exceeds $75,000 after the discount. And when you're executing your participating addendums, the states are bound by that $75,000 per item upper limit. However, they can decrease that limit if they want to set a lower limit for their state.
Chelsea, are we to ask questions now or hold them till the end?
We'll take questions at the end.
Thank you.
An overview of our RFP process. The RFP was released October 6th in 2015. We had one amendment to the RFP. The closing date was December 3rd of 2015. We received 12 proposals. 3 contracts were awarded, and the initial contract term is April 1st of 2016 through March 31st of 2019, and not to exceed a total of 5 years. So I believe that's 2021. The evaluation criteria that we used, we had mandatory submission requirements, which were pass-fail. We had business information, organization support. We really put a lot of points into the customer service support section of the RFP evaluation. From talking with other states and people that use these contracts, customer service really was a big concern for everybody and an integral part of the success of these. So that's why that had so many points assigned. And then the cost proposal was worth 500 points for a total of 1,000 points. And the next few slides are some detailed evaluation criteria. We required the vendors to have a minimum of 3 years providing the same type of service. We required a minimum of 3 references. However, for Band 1, the full line catalog, we required 3 references from customers of theirs which held contracts with an annual volume of at least $10 million. Another evaluation criteria.
Just a quick reminder, if people could mute their phones, we're getting some background noise. Thank you.
Let's see. So other evaluation criteria we found important and I wanted to point out was we asked them to provide a single point of contact in regards to the master agreement, and also the list of key management, their customer service agents and representatives that will be used in providing customer service to the states. We also evaluated their ability and their proposals describing how they will effectively communicate with the states and the ordering entities and the type of staff they will assign to each state and ordering entity. We also asked them to detail the training that will be offered to the ordering entities and the training that they will be offering to their internal staff to assist the entities with their purchases and customer service returns, questions, that type of thing. We also asked them about their sustainability, their recycle programs, their buybacks, their trade-ins. We know that's extremely important to many states, and a lot of states have those green programs in place. And just as a note, all of the proposals are posted on the NASBO website. So if you would like to know more detailed information about what each company does in these different aspects, please go through and read the proposals. They really aren't very long, and they're pretty clear on the responses. So it's very helpful to go ahead and look at those too. We also asked about their local business support and the programs in place to support the local minority, women-owned, and disadvantaged businesses. Our evaluations, we used the normalization process. The scores were normalized according to the explanation given in the RFP. We are very detailed in how we normalize our scores. The top score for the technical received all of the available technical points, and all of their proposals received technical points in proportion to their technical scores. And then the lowest average unit price received all available cost points by category, and all other proposals received cost points in proportion to their average unit price. Here you can see the outcome of the scoring. For technical points, VWR scored the highest and received all 500 points for technical. Fisher Scientific came in second with 486.8 points. The cost points assigned, Fisher scored the highest and received all 500 points, and VWR came in second, receiving 370.05 points. So the total points awarded, Fisher received 986.8 out of 1,000 possible points, and VWR received 870.05 out of a possible 1,000 points. We chose to award to those top two that were awarded the highest points. It was a natural break between the top two and number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Band 4, we received one proposal, and it was from Nikon. So they received all 500 points for both technical and cost, receiving a total of 1,000 points. And as I mentioned earlier, we received 12 proposals altogether. 3 of the proposals were found non-responsive. 2 of the proposals were not included in the spreadsheet. We found that in the best interest of the state of Idaho to not award bands 2 and 3, which were band 2 was plasticware, band 3 were gloves. The pricing on those were more than double what you can get both of those items for through band 1, the full line catalog. And then we awarded to microscopes for band 4 because microscopes have become such a special item requiring a lot of technical assistance and software and setup and training. We found that that was better served by a microscope manufacturer. The next page is just a detail of the contracts that were awarded for all 3 master agreements. And then also these are the single points of contact that were provided for each of the vendors. The contract pricing and discounts, they're actually fairly large, so I didn't include them in this presentation. However, all of the pricing and discount schedules are available for all 3 vendors on the NASBO Value Point website, and I provided the link to the labs section of their website, and you just click on the vendor icon, and once you're in there, there's a listing of the documents, and you can be able to click on those and find the pricing and discount information. The next slide, I provided a snapshot of the market basket to give you an idea of what our discounts are. So we required a market basket, and you can see on there we had the market basket pricing, then provided the pricing after the discount is applied. You can see for Fisher, the total discount for the market basket itself was 66.25%, and the average discount on all market basket items was 62.6%. For VWR, their total discount for the market basket was 52.71%, with an average discount of 47.82%. And Nikon gives 7% discount on all of those catalog items, which doesn't sound a lot, but as we found with the microscopes, that's actually a pretty large discount for that, that type of equipment. The next slides are in regards to their customer service. That was received. We applied a lot of evaluation points to this. I know how important it is to everybody to have access to customer service and the level of customer service you're going to receive. So I kind of added in just some key areas from each of the vendors' proposals. I also included, like for Fisher, their toll-free customer service with 24/7 availability, and they have a number for emergency orders. They also have a website that includes a live chat assistant. So as you're going through and purchasing your items, there is an area that pops up and asks if you want to have a live chat to answer any questions that you may have. And their websites and phone numbers are included in that sheet. The next page, I've included phone numbers for each type of area depending on what you have questions about. Sometimes these numbers can be hard to find, so I wanted to make sure everybody had just a quick reference guide to who do I call for what. VWR, they actually, for their customer service, they actually have a process for certifying all of their sales reps and customer care experts. They have web-based training for all of them to become familiar with these contracts. They also offer dedicated contract managers and sales reps and everything from logistics and reporting also. And then the next page, I also included contact information for VWR for their customer support tools. They also have a click-to-chat support on their webpage, and they also have a technical support hotline and email address. In their proposal, they provided a list of the state captains they have assigned to each state. I included the link to the NASBO Value Point website where that can be found. Each state has somebody assigned to them already, and their name and contact information is listed there. Nikon also offers comprehensive customer service. They will actually work with ordering entities to customize a microscope system to suit their individual needs and budgets. They vow to respond to any questions and issues within 24 hours, and they'll even arrange on-site visits whenever necessary. Every microscope system purchased includes complete user training at no additional charge. The local Nikon representative will actually come out to your facility after the system's been delivered, and they will perform the complete installation for you. Once the installation is complete, they provide training in 3 phases, and that training is all conducted at the user's lab and includes their own instruments. I also included their customer service phone numbers and email address for that. On the next page, again, I provided the main contacts for each region of the U.S., including their email and phone numbers. And a list of their primary sales representatives can also be found on the NASBO Value Point website, and I provided a link to that. And that is all that I have to add. Tim, can we take questions now, or do you want to take questions after you're finished with the PA process?
Let me talk about the PA process real quickly, and then we'll take questions at the very end if that's okay with everyone. Good morning again, everybody. Tim Hay here, and I'm just going to quickly talk about the participating addendum process. As you're aware, all 50 states in the District of Columbia have executed the NASBO Cooperative Memorandum of Agreement, which allows them to be eligible to use any of our NASBO Value Point agreements. We have about 54 different contracting portfolios right now, and those are all available to all the states out there through this NASPO Cooperative Memorandum of Agreement. There's 3 ways for states to participate with our NASPO Value Point contracts. And we're always encouraging option number 1, which is where a state will execute a participating addendum that allows all the state agencies as well as the political subdivisions within that state to participate. There may be some reasons sometimes where a state may not be able to utilize an agreement or a portfolio that we put in place so that they don't have a problem with their political subdivisions utilizing those agreements. So that's when a state would execute a participating addendum under option 2, which would allow all the political subdivisions within the state to utilize the agreements, but it would not allow state agencies to access the agreement. And then sometimes the state, for whatever reason, may not be able to execute a participating addendum at all. And we recognize that and support that, and we appreciate that each state has their own reasons for what they need to do. However, that doesn't mean that political subdivisions aren't out in the cold if they want to access one of our agreements. But we do have a couple of steps involved that we need to do, and that is to check in with the Chief Procurement Officer within that state just to make sure that they don't have any objections. Now, this question comes up a lot. I'll just pick on Idaho. I'm sure the state of Idaho probably doesn't have a lot of authority over what the city of Pocatello does in their contracting process. But the state of Idaho may have their own internal purchasing cooperative for a commodity or service that they're trying to drive spend to. So if the city of Pocatello wanted to use one of our contracts which would compete with one of the state of Idaho's internal state cooperative contracts, we wouldn't want that to happen. We would want to first check in with this Chief Procurement Officer there to make sure that they're okay and that they don't object to it. And if they don't object to it, that's great. 99 times out of 100, usually the CPO says that's great, and we allow the political subdivision to execute the participating addendum. But every now and then a state will say, well, we have our own internal cooperative. We really would like to encourage the polysubs to use that. And then, once we have that answer, we'll just respectfully let the political subdivision know of that decision. The step-by-step, I'm not going to read these slides verbatim, but it's primarily each state will negotiate directly with the contractor. Neither will Chelsea or the state of Idaho or NASPO Value Point get involved with your negotiations or approve your negotiations. Those are strictly between you and the contractor. We are there to answer any questions you may have. If you have a participating addendum process question or NASPO Value Point process question, by all means direct those questions to me, and I can certainly be available to answer those questions or get you in contact with the right person who can answer the question. If you've got a master agreement interpretation issue, if you're not sure what a term or condition means, Chelsea would be your main point of contact, and she'll be there to answer any questions you may have. But once you negotiate that participating addendum with the contractor, then you would just send in that participating addendum to us, executed by both parties with both signatures on it, and the address is pa@naspovaluepoint.org. And we'll log it as well as get it posted up on the NASPO Value Point website. So opportunity 1 and 2 are the same. Opportunity 3 is where we have that check-in process. So if there's a political subdivision out there that's interested in utilizing one of our agreements, they will either contact us, or sometimes the contractor may contact us and say, hey, I've got the city of Pocatello is interested in utilizing this agreement. However, the state of Idaho has not executed the PA. Would you please facilitate in contacting the Chief Procurement Officer? So what we'll do is I will forward this to the appropriate education and outreach person, and they'll reach out to the CPO within the state just to make sure that they don't have any objections. And we'll do it all through email. And we'll also include the point of contact in the city or the polysub that wants to utilize the agreements. And once we receive a confirmation back from the CPO, then we'll advise the political subdivision and the contractor accordingly. And then we'll just go about in executing the participating addendum per the normal processes, and just sending in the executed PA to us. We have a handy-dandy little flow chart This flow chart is on each of the contract portfolio pages on National Value Point, and it just really outlines the step-by-step process and how the PA process works. Just some things to remember. We do have the sample PAs located on the web page under each of the contractors pages on the National Value Point website. This is the starting document that you should use. We have put a place in there for states and political subdivisions to enter in any additional terms and conditions that are important to their state. A lot of states do collect their own internal admin fee. That would be the place to put in that that term and condition. Some states have their own reporting requirements they want to include, or other T's and C's that they're required by law to include in all of their contracts. So that is the appropriate place to put in any of those additional terms and conditions. Keep in mind, these participating addendums are negotiable. So, you know, the contractor is under no obligation to accept them. However, you know, the contractor may also try to insert some additional terms and conditions as well. You're under no obligation to accept those either. We have advised all of the contractors that, you know, the PA is really limited to states introducing their own additional terms and conditions. We've tried to negotiate everything that needed to be negotiated at the master agreement level. However, if you run into any issues as you're executing PAs, or if you think a contractor is trying to introduce something that this doesn't sound right, don't be afraid to pick up the phone or send us an email, and we'll, like I said, we're there to answer any questions that you may have. And then only submit the completed and negotiated PAs with signatures from both parties to us. We receive a lot of PAs each day that are executed, and sometimes we receive ones that are works in progress. We want to make sure that we're only receiving and posting those completed ones, and we don't mistakenly post a PA that's not executed yet on the website. So please don't send us any of those works in progress, and only send us the executed participating addendum. Let us know if we can be of any assistance. There is no wrong door at National Value Point, so if you're not sure who to contact, just contact any one of us. My point of contact is here, but if you reach out to anybody else and in Value Point, and if they're not sure how to answer the question, they will certainly get you in contact with the appropriate person within Value Point who can. And with that, we'll open it up now to any questions that anybody may have on what they saw in today's presentation. I'm hearing crickets. Does anybody have any questions?
Or if you have questions that you don't want to ask in front of anybody, please feel free to email me, and I will get back to you.
Well, I'll ask one. This is Chris from Colorado. You mentioned when we are negotiating and find terms being proposed or issues by the suppliers that, this doesn't sound right. Is there anything you can share about the negotiations that were done with either of the primary contractors, not the microscope contractor, things to sort of watch out for, or just some, guidance on the side? I know you can't share the details of the negotiations, but
Idaho really doesn't negotiate. However, one of the things that have come up is indemnification. Some of the vendors were wanting to add that piece to the PA because we did not and cannot include that in the master agreement. And I told them we can't do that. We're not willing to do that. So I'm not sure if they will ask that of other states or not. Other than that, there really was no significant issues. I'm not sure what could come up, and they really shouldn't question your admin fees or anything like that for your state. That is all included in the master agreements. And all of that information is on the NASBO Value Point website. And Idaho does something that may be a bit different from other states. The way we put together our master agreements are we use We have a master agreement, which is pretty basic, but included in that master agreement and part of the official master agreement document are the RFP and the vendor's proposal. So that I know is a bit different from other states. So when you look at those documents on the NASBO Value Point website, keep in mind that there's the master agreement, and also included in that and listed in the master agreement is the order of precedence as far as the RFP and the vendor's proposal.
Thank you.
Thanks,
and
Chelsea.
if anybody's running into a lot of a big issue, let Tim or I know, because you may not be the only one, and if a vendor is trying to do the same thing in multiple states, then maybe we can address it at that time with them.
Well, would it be out of line for me to mention what went on last time? And that's why.
That offline
okay, sure.
with Chelsea.
Yeah, I'll do that.
This is Tim Shea from the state of Washington. Will this PowerPoint be available on the NASPO site?
Yes, yes it will, Tim. We're recording today's presentation, and we'll have the full recording as well as the separate slide deck posted a little later today under the lab supplies portfolio. You should be able to go out to the NASPO Value Point website and just search for lab equipment or just laboratory, and it'll pull it up. In fact, the old contracts, I believe, have expired already, so the only valid one that will pull up will be the current one, and they'll be posted there.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi, this is Lori. I just typed in the chat, so maybe it's not showing up. But I have a question about the transportation. What is the language in there regarding transportation FOB? We had a vendor that tried to charge us for transportation.
Lori, I'm not looking at the RFP right now, which is part of the master agreement, so I don't want to misspeak on that. We'll have to look at the RFP and see what it states.
Okay. And then also,
Chelsea, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, one more question. Special orders available?
Again, that is addressed in the RFP, and I'm sorry that I don't have that right in front of me to look at it, but it is in there, and it is part of the master agreement.
Okay, thank you.
All right, another question?
No, I was going to add, this is Donnie from Maine. I read the RFP, and on the FOB destination, it was for over 50 is prepaid. FOB destination. Under 50, they'll charge freight.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
All right, are there any other questions today? Well, I'm hearing crickets, so I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to participate in today's webinar. I hope you found today's information valuable, and you find these new lab equipment and supplies agreements valuable as well. We encourage you to obviously to use these agreements and execute those participating addendums, and don't be afraid to contact either Chelsea or myself if you have any questions or concerns. We are here to help, and I just want to wish you all a great rest of your Thursday. Thanks again for attending.